So what you will need is two pieces for the exterior. I've chosen this chevron, multicolor print. So it'll have to be 8.5 by 6.5. So I have two of those. And because of this woven print, I have done interfacing on the other side. So be sure to do that if you have a very delicate fabric. You also do two interior of the same measurements, 8.5 by 6.5. And I've used this mustard yellow for that. I kind of already have started the pocket, sorry, but this one measured just a 1/2 inch shorter than the original, so it's 6 here and still 8.5 because you still need to cover the same width. And then we have our zipper. I have this one is 8 inches because that will be our ending size. And I've already attached these pieces of fabric on the ends. It'll give it a cleaner look for when we finish. What I did is just put interfacing on the back of the outer fabric. I cut it so that it was the same, I should do it this way. I cut it this way so it's the same width as a zipper, so when you put it on, so I have two of those, and then I pretend this was the actual one, and then I folded it like this, and then kind of sandwich the zipper in the middle, and of course you do it proportionally. So we already have the zipper like that, so we're going to continue on. After the zipper we will do the pocket. What I have done already is I folded it over just double right there so you can have a clean seam, and I left it so that make sure it's even all along the way here. This one is 5 inches, so you can do the same. You can have it shorter. I mean, you probably can't have it any taller because I still did it pretty small, but if you want a little bit shorter pocket, just make sure it's the same measurements all along. And then what you're going to do after you're done sewing along this seam, you're going to attach it so that you have finished the cleaner one here and the folded is inside. You're going to align it up at the bottom, and then going to measure halfway. So halfway of 8.5 is 4 1/4. So I'm going to find the middle right there. Pin all along the bottom. Oh, sorry. Pin all along here. The middle, that will just help you, and it will be your guide for when you sew it together. And you'll create the divide, and it'll create two pockets. Okay, so we're going to put that together and go on. As you can see, we have put the pocket on. This will be the inner part of the bag. The black stitching will help you see that, again, this is the stitch we did at the top of the pocket, and then this is the middle, should be 4 1/4 across. So now what we're going to do, you're going to take your zipper, and I always like to imagine the final product just to be sure I don't mess it up. We'll do it this way. So say this is, the outside of the bag, of course, and then we're going to use the one without the pocket, just because. So say this is the inside, this is the outside, and then we have the zipper, okay? And it's going to, when it's done, it'll be nice and clean like that. But what we're going to do, then you're just going to flip it this way, and then you're going to flip the other one the other way, and this is the correct side that you want to see of your bag. And then, sorry there's no obvious pattern, but this would be the correct side. You have those facing each other, and again the zipper facing up. You're going to pin all of these so that the black, make sure you can see the black on the edge, have them all just right on the edge, and be mindful that you will have, make sure that the zipper is exactly in the middle, about a 1/4 inch on each side, because that'll help you when we stitch later, but you will stitch all the way going over. And then when you start sewing, the zipper will be in the way. I like to pull it out of the way first, start sewing along, and then after you've gotten to about here, it's enough room for you to lift up your footer, move your needle if you need, put the zipper all the way to the top so that you don't have to worry about the rest of your stitch, and you just sew the rest of the way. So just be mindful of that, and just put your footer right along the edge here, and that you're sewing kind of close to the zipper, not too close or else it won't zip. But yeah, I've seen that you should just line the footer up with here. But again, also depends on the type of zipper that you have. I have a pretty thick one, as you can see. It has a really wide ribbon here. So here it is coming out of the machine. We started off with it like this, with the correct sides facing each other, and then the zipper in the middle. And then when you open it up, you can see it's one of the sides of your bag. You're going to pull this tight. I like to pin it this way, just right along here near the zipper is tight. You're going to sew these two together just to secure it, kind of along, like right along there. Now that we have sewn along here, we're going to repeat the same thing with the other fabric. So we have the two correct sides facing up again. So this is the one with the pocket, this is the up side, and then we have the zipper placed here. Actually, the zipper will be placed, here we go, so that the zipper part is facing up. Again, center it in between that width. You're going to have the correct side of the bag facing down, and then it always is good, so when we pin that, to test it out, make sure that again everything is correct and the way that you want it to finish. So we're going to go ahead, sew that, flip it over like we did with the other one, and sew along that seam. Right, now that you've finished the other side, as you can see, I went ahead and I put the two outsides facing each other this way, and then the two yellow facing each other, and I pinned all the way around, and I left the zipper open because that's how you're going to turn it inside out, so make sure you keep that open in there. And I guess I underestimated the amount of fabric you actually need on the end. What we're going to do, you're not going to sew over it, but what you're going to do is, because this is a new thing with adding this end, I thought it would make it look cleaner. I've seen it done on other bags. I just need to do better next time. So rule number one of sewing: accept the fact that you're going to make mistakes and you're not perfect. Even I make stupid mistakes. So you're going to start here. And this is going to be your opening for where you turn it inside out. So you start in one of the corners, about an inch into it, go around here, actually sorry, you can go here, stop here, and go as close as you can to it, pinch it in if you need, stop right there. Then you're just going to lift up your needle, start again right here, and then start all the way along here, and then this one you're going to do, close it here, stop, double stitch, and then hop over here, double stitch along here, and finish off, and again leaving this opening. Okay, now that we have sewn all the way around, again you can see with my black stitching, I did about an inch or two along the yellow, and stopped here, jumped around, jumped here. What I had to do a couple times, I turned it out, so you turn it right side out, and test and see if you covered it all the way, and I had to go back a little bit and pinch here. And now we're going to pinch all four of the corners. You can see I kind of make a triangle, flatten it out, and you want to align the seams together. Taking a ruler, you're going to mark 2 inches, and the halfway mark of 2 inches hits right at the seam of that triangle. So here in this case it's 1 inch. So you can see it's 1 inch on each side, and you're just going to take a pen and draw a mark, and you can see I've done it on all 4 of the corners. And sorry I don't have a video of how to finish the rest of it, but I can talk you through it. So after you've made the pen marks, then we're going to continue and sew on those marks. Do all 4 of the corners, and then you're going to trim off the little triangles, leaving about 1.5 inches of the fabric. And then you're going to turn it right side out. You're going to put your hand through the opening of the lining. In my case was the yellow. Pull through to grab the other side, the outside of the bag, and you pull that through, tuck in the yellow. Before you tuck it in, actually, then you take the opening and then you tuck in the edges of that lining there, sew it to close it up, and then you are all done.